Watching some stuff from in between. Seeing that Ferrari have utilised a new front wing, which supposedly is going to be kind of similar to McLaren's and Mercedes, the Flexi, i.e. Flexi wing. So, see how that gets on. Hey Nathan, good to see you, mate. Does it matter though to McLaren that much? The only circuit this ring will be beneficial. COTA as well. COTA as well, because you've got the very long back straight and obviously down the start-finish straight as well. That's really what would only then apply. So, yeah. Circuit of the Americas, definitely not so much here, that's for sure. Because it's the amount of load. I mean, you're not going to get as much load on the rear wing as you are, here, are you? It's Singapore. So because the straights aren't long enough, and of course the air thickness as well also has an element to it. So, morning, True. You're loving the McLaren livery. I'm now questioning your taste, your fashion sense, True. I'm not. I mean, look. I said I'm going to reserve. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm going to reserve judgment until I see it on TV. I haven't yet seen it on TV yet. So, and also the Mercedes as well. What do I think about the rumours of Colapinto to Audi in 25? Is that a rumour, Andrea? I don't know. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure James Vowles would allow Colapinto to move, because I think he'd like him in reserve, unless he'd stick that in their contract and say, look, we can take him back whenever we like. I don't think it makes sense for Stake. I think they're better off, and Audi, I think they're better off looking at someone within their own development team, their junior team. They do have their own academy, the Sauber Academy, Stake F1 Academy, whatever you want to refer to it as. Zach Maloney's doing very good. You're better off going down that route, especially someone you've developed yourself and will be your driver, rather than getting someone else's driver. Oh, Perez crossing the white line at the pit exit. Black and white flag for Perez. Failing to follow race director's instructions. Black and white flag is just a warning though, isn't it? So it's not a penalty. Afternoon, Wonk. Afternoon. I think I'm used to it because it's an IndyCar McLaren livery. Is it? Oh, fair enough. Ford DRS zone is crazy. They're trying to entice Monday. They're trying... Sorry, entice? Entice. They're trying to entice overtaking. I still don't think it's going to have an effect. Was it DRS down? I think... So what's the new addition? The new addition is DRS from turn 14 to turn 16, isn't it? I think turn 13 to turn 14 was DRS last year. That was the additional DRS zone that was added. I think it's 14 to 16, but now has DRS. People are so quick to judge one or two decent races and people hype up a guy and nothing learned from De Vries. Exactly, DR. Which, don't get me wrong, he's had 2 brilliant races. He needs to continue this to the end of the season. He's got a great opportunity. He's still got 7 races and 3 sprint races to prove himself and have force people into those conversations. That's for sure. So, you can't deny it. 2 races back to back, but he's had very good performances, and he's definitely proven that they should have got rid of Sargent long ago. So yeah, let's see how he gets on here, and see how he gets on at another GP circuit as well in regards to COTA and the circuits we've got remaining, Mexico as well. So AAC, yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Hope you're well. It's Zane Maloney, Stuffey. Hope you're right. Isn't it EY? EY. It looked better in red, but we know it's not going to happen. Probably going to replace Albon in 26. Would be great to see Sainz and Colapinto in a team. Yeah, so look, what Colapinto does is that he is giving James Vowles a good headache. As I said earlier on in the first session, what he does is that what Williams have got, while they've got a great driver pairing for next year on paper in Sainz and Albon, they're both 2 drivers who ultimately aren't looking to stay at Williams for the long term. Let's be real here. Sainz is taking a step down because there's no other. He's been shoved out of Ferrari for Hamilton, and he tried to hang around for a Mercedes seat, a Red Bull seat that wasn't available. So he's only doing this as a stopgap, really, to just then get into a seat further up the grid. They're not there as a project to make Williams better again. Whereas Colapinto has age on his side. He's young enough that he'd want to be in Williams, and he can score points with them. He'd want to be there. So if one of those drivers, if the relationship breaks down, if they are, another seat becomes available further up the grid or something, I don't know. I don't think either. I think Sainz realistically is probably the only driver who would get an opportunity at another top team. Will he get that though? I don't know, because I think teams are now looking to their youth and within their own systems now. And Sainz is out of that. He's out of that Red Bull system. So they're going to look to the likes of Hadjar, Lawson, this Arvid Lindblad, who is very highly rated from what I've heard, as highly rated as Max Verstappen in the Red Bull system. He's going into F2 next year, stepping up from F3. So, yeah, I think Colapinto being one of their own, if he continues this form, we could see a drastic change in seats maybe next year or the year after if something happens between Sainz and Albon. You never know. You never know. There's no doubt they'll shove stuff in their contracts, Williams, to protect themselves as well. But if something happens, they can also cancel their contracts and so forth. Well, my opinions on many diff race leaders we might see on Sunday. 9 races in a row with 3 or more leaders. If the grid is fairly typical, will the streak continue? The only way it will change here, I think, at Singapore is if there is, 1, adverse weather conditions, or through the pit stops. But no, I think this is probably where we'll most likely see that run end out on circuit. But if it changes, it'll be due to the rain, potential mistakes occurring there, or due to pit stops. I don't think. Look, let's be honest. Singapore is never a track where you get a lot of on-track overtakes. We'll see how this new DRS helps. We've got 4 DRS zones, but look, the dirty air is just so much more prevalent now as we're in the 3rd year of this current regulation set, which means the cars are throwing off more dirty air and following is a lot harder, as we've seen. So how much traction will these drivers, even with DRS, be able to get to have a run on the teams, especially up front where it's a lot closer now? You really do need a tyre advantage, like over a second tyre advantage on your tyres to get past someone, pretty much, especially where you haven't got that long of a run out of the corner. That run. The longest run really here is from turn 5 to 7 and, well, yeah, now 14 to 16. But how often do we see overtakes from turn 5 to turn 7? Not a lot. And likewise, 14 to 16, I don't think we saw really any last year. Very few anyway. Vettel Audi, never going to happen. Waste of money, to be honest. Why would you bring Vettel back? He's had his day. He's had his time. I reckon Mountain 6.3 VWP is fast now, so yeah. Adding more DRS zones won't help with the circuit itself. It's shitty. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a bad circuit. I think it's a good circuit. It's a challenge for the drivers. However, yeah, for wheel-to-wheel racing, yeah, not. It's similar to Monaco, isn't it? We get more, but yeah, it's more so going to be in the pits and if there's any safety cars as well. Bearing in mind, we've gone 8 races now without a safety car, I think it is. That's the longest run we've had since before 2011. Like, that's long. There should be a safety car. Yeah, exactly, Wonk. Remember, Sainz have exit clause on Williams if one of the top teams. It's most likely, yeah. I mean, it's most likely both of them do. Lovely. That's probably why. It's probably the same with Albon and with Sainz. So Hamilton retires. I think Ferrari will poach Oscar. I don't think so. I think they're sitting there. I think Behrman's the natural replacement. They rate Behrman very highly. You got to remember, why is he in the Haas? Because there's a connection with Ferrari and Haas. They supplied parts to them and so forth. So there's a connection there of why he's in the Haas team with Ferrari. And I think they're using their parts till 27. I think it is 2027. So yeah, that's why Ollie Behrman is where he is, and they clearly rate him very highly. And Ollie Behrman's 19 next year, I think, or this year. So let's say Hamilton's there for maximum 3 years, right? Let's say Lewis goes for 3 years. He's got a 2 + 1 year deal. That's the rumours. He will still be 22. Younger than Oscar Piastri. Well, the age Oscar Piastri was when he came into F1. So yeah, I think Charles Leclerc isn't going to go anywhere, is he? So it's going to be Leclerc and Behrman eventually. We need these circuits in iRacing. It would be pretty cool. It's tricky to scan them, though. That's the problem. iRacing would never really get enough time to go out there and scan them properly. And I don't think anyone else has correct, like, proper scans of the track. Everything is, like, kind of made artificially from, like, F1 and so forth. Hey, Dusko. There's a whole debate on at this moment about swearing. Yes. Matt's got an FI penalty for doing it on the press conference. My take on this whole swearing thing is kind of similar to how it is with the jewellery thing that they tried to stop Lewis Hamilton doing. Why are you focusing on this? Why? Is it really that big of an issue? My opinion? No. Is swearing wrong in press conferences and driver interviews? Yes. I think they should be given a slap on the wrist for that and go, look, what are you doing? That's where you can control. That's where you can control your emotions, and you don't have the high-pressured environment of being in a race car. But if they have so much of an issue with it, delay the press conference. Don't have it live. Have a 20-second delay on it so that you can bleep out any words you deem inappropriate. And then, in regards to in the car, I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, why are you trying to focus on swearing? By the way, you don't have to choose those messages where drivers are swearing. Like I get F1 kids do exist, but at the end of the day, they bleep the messages out, and two, so you'd never actually hear them, and two, as adults we know what they're saying, but kids don't really. And then, secondly, they don't have to choose to air those messages. There is that as well. And any sportsman, you put a microphone on any professional sportsman in a high-pressured environment, you're going to hear words that you don't like. Because they're talking to themselves, they're trying to win. They're like, these drivers have got the adrenaline pumping. They've got so much stress going through their body. Like, they're not thinking. They're thinking about so many different things. The last thing they're thinking about is their language. So I get some drivers are very potty-mouthed, and yes, there's a point of where you go, like being abusive to their own engineers. There's definitely some junior drivers out there who I've heard, and I'm like, you're just being horrible now for the sake of being horrible. Like, you can tone that down, but swearing for emphasis and so forth, especially when they're in the heat of the moment. Like, I've done it when I'm sim racing, let alone what it's like for these guys. So I just think they can be in control of that and not air those messages. They can bleep them out. They can delay it. And just don't. If you think it's a real issue, just don't air the messages. Simple as. So, did I get my B-Day card? Yes, she's got to fill it out for me though. Conferences rarely are live. Yeah, then I don't know why they're not just. Yeah, and Ben Sullivan as well. I mean, he could use his words better. I mean, that guy, Ben Sullivan, like, I don't like the guy anyway. I don't like the guy. And I just think, why are you focusing on this area? Why? Why are you focusing on this? Like, you should be focusing on so many bigger things than just, like, language. So... yeah, so he compared it to rappers. So he was like, he was like, they're not rappers. We're not rappers where they use the F word every minute or so. And I get what he's trying to do, but F1 drivers aren't rappers. I don't know why you can try to compare the music industry to sport, for one. And the guy just has no, like, self-awareness. Like, he just doesn't. He's just a twat, in my opinion. I don't like him. I just don't like him. So, if you look at F1 in the day, there was smoking and drinking, cursing and crazy stuff going around. They shouldn't be in the light. They shouldn't be in the light like this. Exactly, if manners... oh, chat's going too quick. Exactly, if manners shouldn't matter, then journalists should use F words too. AO, yeah, I'm talking to you, Max. What's the car fat I want? What's going on there? Kids grow up with iPads nowadays, doubt swearing is an issue. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, as soon as I got into like year 3, when I was like 10 years old, like, I was in junior school in the UK, so that's the ages of oh, what is that? From like 7 to 11, I think it was. I was swearing a lot. My mum and dad didn't know. I daren't swear in front of my mum. But yeah, look, there's a time and place for it. I think in press conferences and interviews and so forth, yes, that's where you cut down on it. Look, don't do that. You're in a professional environment. Like, you can use other words to emphasize your emotions at the end of the day. But in the car, no. You're asking a driver to think about the last thing that's on his mind when he's driving a car at 200 miles an hour, wheel to wheel, you know? So, is there a chat mod here? Yeah, there is. Yeah, we've got Taco here. He's that mod. Flow Laboratory is okay. Swearing is not okay, eh? I know. Well, Laboratory is there for a reason, to get rid of Alpine, isn't he? To sell it off. I think once Alpine's gone, he'll be gone as well. If people with kids these days don't swear, then they're living... Well, look, yeah, I mean, look, the real world, you go into the real world and you'll hear swearing all over the place. Like me, I swear, but I make sure I don't swear when kids are around. I make sure I don't swear when I'm in like meetings and professional environment and so forth. But yeah, when I'm at home, when I'm with my mates, and I even swear on here as well sometimes for emphasis, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to dial that back a little bit with my commentary. But even I get into the heat of the moment, and we all do. But I just think there's bigger issues in F1 or FIA, as an example, that he should be focusing on than language. So it's just Ben Sulayem as, again, just showing how much of an incompetent president or whatever his role is of the head of the FIA, you know. So swear from Markiplier. What happened with Science lap yellow final sector? I don't know, probably bowed out of it. I don't know, to be honest with you. I aren't talking too much about it either. But anywho, that's it. Professional sportsmen are going to swear. Go to a real life football match, soccer match. You'll hear some things, trust me. It's BS, they choose to broadcast it. It's team radio, they should say what they want to say. Just broadcast it, it'll delay. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they're not talking to us. They don't care about the audience when they're racing. They're talking to their team, focusing on themselves and the person they're fighting with. So, like, yeah. Am I excited for Audi? No, not really. I mean, it is good for a reputable name. He is coming into the sport. However, I'm a bit worried about Audi. I think it might be a flash in the pan for them, and we've mentioned it before. If you dig into the details of the team that is now going to be headed up the F1 process, it's not the team that initially signed them up for F1. They've been moved about, and they're having issues financially, or they've had issues like financially as well. I think like they haven't had that many good sales from their own car industry perspective. So yeah, Audi is I hope I'm proved wrong, but I'm not overly... It's going to take them a good few years to get up to basically scoring points, I think. I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, I'm a little bit worried for them. Football during COVID was jokes. Just watch everyone. Oh, hey, Lumpy, good to see you. Thank you, buddy. Birthday tomorrow. It's life and death sometimes, like that amount of adrenaline, and they want... Yeah, just... Your energy is better spent elsewhere. It's just clearly a man who's got too much time on his hands, and I don't think him, in his specific role, should have that much time on his hands to focus about this. You know? It's like the whole jury thing with Lewis Hamilton. Are you really going to penalise the guy for having a nose piercing? Like, if anything, that's a detriment to himself, because he's got more weight in the car because he's got a nose ring or because he's got a couple of earrings, you know? That's his choice. So, yeah. How did Ben Sulayem become the FIA President Junior? He got voted in, believe it or not. He got voted in. I can't remember who it was between. It was him and another guy. I can't remember who it was. I think at the time he actually sounded like the better option, but that has now been proved wrong. Thanks, Gregory. 30,000 subs, yeah. If the Audi team drives like they go on public roads, F1 is doomed. Will Bottas retire? I think so. Yeah, there'll be no other place on the grid for him. I think if he leaves F1 now, he won't get back on. It's time for a new generation of F1 drivers. We only want, in the day, we want the best of the best on the grid, and that's why we've got Hamilton. That's why we accept Hamilton at his age. We accept Alonso because they're arguably still best drivers, some of the best drivers in the world on the grid. So we want the best young drivers coming through as well. Likewise. Hey, Rory. Been a while since you last joined the stream. Oh, good to see you back, buddy. Good to see you back. Welcome. They need the innovation F1 can bring to boost their cars. It might boost sales, but I think they're not going to amount to much like the Toyota team. Yeah, that's what I think, Martin. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, Bonotto being assigned kind of to oversee the F1 project. I know they've got Jonathan Wheatley coming in as the team principal. I don't know. We'll see. There's some good hire. I mean, Jonathan Wheatley's a good hire, but I don't know. I don't know. It was just that's Lewis's swag, yeah. Albon on softs, yeah. We've got some soft runners out there now. Bottas, Colapinto, Albon. So we might see, as we normally do in FP2, a couple of quali runs because this is now a relative. These conditions are relative to what we'll see in qualifying tomorrow and what we'll see in the race on Sunday. Of course, the FP1 session is always held kind of late evening, late afternoon in the daytime. And it's the first time cars are kind of really out on circuit, laying down rubber. There's been a lot of resurfacing that's happened here, guys, even though it is a street circuit. And we saw some drivers struggling with the bumps, the Red Bull in particular. So let's keep an eye out on the Red Bull because it was Perez locked up so many times because the car was just hopping around the bumps. So as Red Bull have had to do, they've had to make some compromises in their setups to ensure that the car is balanced and drivable, which just makes the car slow. It suited Perez last week. Max said he made some poor setup changes, but that's the position they're in at the moment, is that if they try and have the car set up optimally, should I say, purely for performance, they just chew tyres and they have the issues that we're seeing now. Now, last time around in Singapore, the reason why Red Bull was so slow and they struggled is because of the bumps. Again, they had to raise the ride height of their car to ensure that the car was softer over those bumps and they could get a bit more consistency out of the car. What that did is that made their car slower. And it seems like that they may have to do that again here this weekend. So, and of course, the car is nowhere near as quick and has that much of an advantage compared to others. So Perez being asked how was last lap? All over the place. So the Red Bull struggling with its setup. So we'll see how they get on in this session and of course FP3 tomorrow and the qualifying. But it's not looking good for them. As Lewis is also not happy about his car as well. Same from FP1. Bonotto though, yeah. Looks like Red Bull has lost its wings. The new best podcast is here. No formula. The best podcast, the best F1 podcast you can listen to is the Missed Apex podcast. That is the best F1 podcast you can listen to. All fairness, the piercing thing could be a thing legally, but then again, just let him sign away his rights. Well, yeah, it was. I think the reason was it was for fire hazards. If there is a fire in the car, they can melt, of course, and it's a safety issue to yourself. But yeah, if he wants to sign if Lewis is like, no, I'll take that risk, then that's kind of down to him, I guess, especially something that goes into his actual body. So. And McLaren will definitely win the Constructors this year. You'd think so, yeah. They're in the lead now. I think Red Bull could be overtaken by Ferrari. And you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Red Bull do want to finish third, because they probably don't. Oh, George Russell having to limp home, apparently. It seems to be going okay at the moment. Piastri goes fastest in the first sector, by the way. We'll keep an eye out on him. But yeah, I think... Where was I going with my train of thought just there? I can't remember what my train of thought was. Yeah, Red Bull. I think they'll probably want the additional wind tunnel time that comes with finishing third, further down in the Constructors. If it rains and Alonso and Hamilton will be the menace to the whole grid. Feel sorry for Liam Lawson waiting in the wings for so long. Perez needs to go. I love him, but yeah, it's been struggling. Well, yeah, I think he'll end up being... It looks like Liam Lawson, if you're just joining us for the first time, you haven't tuned into any F1 news this week leading up to Singapore Grand Prix. The strong rumours are that Liam Lawson is going to be announced as the RB driver for the remainder of the season. And it could potentially be Daniel Ricciardo's last ever race in F1, guys. As George Russell goes fastest, but Norris is going faster, as he did in the first practice session, purple and second sectors. Piastri of 31.4. Oh, only 14 hundredths of a second faster. Charles Leclerc fastest in the first sector as well. There you go. Norris through the last corner. See how he gets on. What do we reckon? A 31.0? Well, 30.727. Bearing in mind, guys, I think, didn't we at the pole lap from last year, F1... last year, pole position was a 30.9. So last year, we are already quicker, 2 tenths quicker than pole position of last year, set by Carlos Sainz with 30.9. And Charles Leclerc has gone fastest in the both first and second sector. So no doubt he's going to cut some time off of Norris as well. No, good to see you, Martin. How did I drop to 2.8k IR just? I had some software issues that lost me a lot of IR. I joined races and couldn't join them. I had COVID. I raced with COVID and had a lot of issues there as well. And then I had a poor end to the season where I was then trying to save safety rating. So yeah, I kind of went through a very bad month. But we're on the way back up. Can we now say that Lewis made a good decision moving to Ferrari? I think it was always a good decision, yeah. I think it was always a good decision as Charles just dropped a bit of time in the last sector there. Over a tenth to Lando Norris in that last sector, which is why he wasn't pole position, why he wasn't fastest in the first sector. Just watching that, Charles. Did he get a bit of understeer for the last corner? Seems to be okay, just lost a bit of time. It does look like, as it was in FP1, it does look like it's shaping up to be a Norris and Leclerc kind of battle here this weekend. So we'll see. Of course, don't ever rule out Piastri, the most informed driver on the grid. Don't rule out Carlos Sainz as well. He's out there doing an outlap now, so we'll see how he gets on. It's faster because the second sector is changed this year. Yeah. Is it? No, I don't think the second sector has changed. These cars are just naturally quicker. This was the change from last year anyway, this section here. They removed the twisty-turny bit. So this has remained as it was last year, wasn't it? 14 and 15. I'm pretty sure of it. So, DRS? Yes, DRS. Yeah, there's 4 DRS zones. That would help, yeah. But the cars are naturally quicker anyway, aren't they? They're around, I think, on average, a second quicker per lap than they were last year when it comes to pole position. Granny F1 for the guts of 70 years. I've seen them all. Senna, Hunt, Hill, both of them. Frost. Wow. But yeah, a bit before my time. I remember Damon Hill. I was getting into F1 when Damon Hill was kind of winning his championship. My granddad got me into it, so. Yeah, I'm trying to, Just. I'm a bit busy. I've been a bit busy this week, man. I'm busy tonight. I'd love to stream tonight, but I'm busy tonight. I'm busy tomorrow. I'm busy Sunday, so yeah, I'm most likely not going to get an opportunity to race a lot of Spa this week, which is a shame. But next week we've got Silverstone, so I'll get plenty in there. And I've got to upgrade. I've got to change over my PC after this weekend. I've got to change a new CPU, which should hopefully really help with my performance. So, Haas outperforming RB? No, it's only. I mean, Perez. Let's keep an eye on Perez. Actually, he's on a lap. He's coming for the last sector now. Green. Of course, we never know what fuel loads they got, guys. Never know what engine modes they're running. Perez only 7th. I'm just looking at where they are, their sector times. So Perez was 7th fastest in the first sector. He was 11th fastest in the second, and he was 3rd fastest in the last sector. Interesting. Let's keep an eye on that. Lewis Hamilton is out on the softs as well. So we're starting to see everyone's out on the soft compound tyres. And we're now going to start to see drivers, running some push laps. Four times DRS and mini DRS wrecked. There's a new DRS zone. Yes, yeah. You're on a GTX. Oh, I've got a 47. Well, of course, I'm trying to stream and everything at the same time and record, so it's a bit more taxing on my system than if I was just playing racing normally. So that's why, hence the upgrade. Nightbot is outdated. Oh yeah, I have actually. Yeah, I'll update that for tomorrow. Lewis is phenomenal in Singapore. Do you think he'll win this time? No, I think it's between Norris and Leclerc. From the looks of it, they both look very comfortable. Don't ever rule out Piastri, of course, but yeah. Norris and Leclerc, they were 1-2 in the first practice session. Norris was pretty much on it from the get-go in that FP1. He looked good here as well in FP2. So, and the McLaren and the Ferrari looks to be the most comfortable here at the moment over the bumps. Just watching. Charles Leclerc touched the wall slightly in a lap he did previously. So yeah, they look the most comfortable. The Red Bull doesn't look that great. Lewis at the moment is struggling with the setup of the car. So hopefully it means he gets that sorted over the course of this weekend. We know how it is on a Friday. If he has a good Friday, he's generally a bit poor over the weekend. So hopefully roles reverse this time around and he ends the weekend strong. Or just buy a shitty second PC to record. I don't have the space for that. So, just work off one PC. It's not an SSD I need, no. Maka and Ferrari still looking super strong. I think Norris pole, Leclerc P2. Maka seems to have more pace. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, never rule out Leclerc, of course. Won here previously. And we know how he is good on a single lap as well. But ultimately, what Norris needs to do, let's say Leclerc does get on pole and Norris is second. All Norris needs to do, yes, of course he wants to win, but he needs to look at his gap to Verstappen. That's primarily what he needs to do. Yes, win every single race, but don't do anything stupid if Max is down in eighth place, 7th place. If he is, then you can just get, obviously you want those additional points, but you don't do anything stupid to throw away those points advantage that you so desperately need, because your fight is, yes, with Leclerc, but it's still primarily with Max Verstappen. I think Hamilton lost his mojo to Merc now. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, look, he's got his swan song. He won the 2 races, didn't he? Barcelona and Spa, and he's clearly being used as kind of test dummy to an extent. Anything that's experimental that they want to look at on the car, especially in Baku, I think that was a clear case of that. They've decided to use him as, and that's understandable considering he's the driver on his way out. So why wouldn't you test new parts on him, especially as he's the more experienced driver as well? But yeah, Hamilton didn't take too kindly to that in Baku. Because he's still only starting 7th, so it was still an opportunity for him to maybe get involved in that race. But yeah, I mean, there you go. P11 for Lewis, 9 tenths down on Lando Norris. He's reporting he's struggling with traction, apparently, Lewis Hamilton. So not comfortable in that car. We don't know fuel loads, of course. We don't know engine modes, battery usage, but still, that's always quite far away, especially even for Max as well in 14th. Not normally what you see from those two if their car is in a good place right now. Do I reckon there's an actual battle for 10th place in drivers, or has V carbohydrates fallen off too hard? So yeah, I think the V carb has fallen off a bit too hard. We'll see if Yuki's gone well here before, to be fair, but he's been real unfortunate for the last couple of races. But yeah, that V carb doesn't. Yeah, it's not really that great. They've got upgrades for Kota. It might make a slight improvement there. But I think they've kind of slightly underperformed throughout the course of this season, really, V-Carb. I think everyone thought they'd do a lot better. But, I mean, they've let themselves down with their ridiculous strategy calls they've made for both drivers throughout the course of this season as well. So they haven't helped themselves there. Could easily have more points. How many Kimi's race starts this weekend? 349 races. That's a lot of races. Hey, Jackie, 67 granny average in F1. 60s. I've been in all the great, seen all the greatest before, and also. Wow. Yeah, you've definitely seen F1 evolve. That is for sure. Welcome, Jackie. Welcome. VCarb is doing better than Red Bull Racing in practice, Robert. Yeah. We won't read too much into it just now. I do expect Max to come out and maybe do another lap. We'll see. He is 14th at the moment. I don't know if his lap got interrupted, but he has been reporting he's struggling with the car as well. Perez reporting he's been struggling with the car. So we will see. 23 minutes left of this session. Perez, is he doing laps? He is out there on this set of softs. So it's 27.2 for him in the first sector. That's 2 tenths slower. See if he can improve in the second sector. A 38.6 for Perez last time out. Now he's on a set of tyres, but he's already done a fast lap on. So this is his second fast run on this set, and a 38.6 from him. So that is only just slower. You're talking 100th of a second slower than last time around. So he could improve. He could still. No, he's probably not going to improve it unless he makes up 2 tenths in the last sector. And he doesn't. 25.8. So last sector actually was... So the last 2 sectors were pretty much on par, but the first sector was noticeably slower. Notice whether Perez is still ahead of Verstappen. Speaking of Monza, combined Pro GT was at Monza combined with no chicanes. Crazy racing. Adrian said he is off the F1 team since Japan, hence the downfall Red Bull. No, I think it's multiple reasons, Dusko. I think it's just coincidence that Adrian is leaving at this time, which is why they've fallen off. But yeah, I mean, look, there's a couple of rumours, isn't there, with Red Bull? We've mentioned it earlier on FP1. I won't waste too much more time on it. There's the potential that they have actually had to remove a certain device that was helping them with asymmetric braking, hence the clarification in the rules. FIA are known not to be very transparent when it comes to asking teams to remove certain devices like that. And they've always been quite lenient on Red Bull, I think, in the past. And then there is the rumour that, yes, Adrian Newey potentially advised the designers not to go down a certain route at the start of the year in their design. And they went against his advice, and they're now in the situation they are now. So either way, it's one of the biggest drop-offs in F1 history. It's unprecedented considering it is a team that was still dominating at the start of this season. Max still won 7 races in like the first 10, which is domination. Yes, it got closer, didn't it, to kind of towards the end, those last couple of races, but ultimately they were still winning races by like 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and now look at them. So yeah, unprecedented in F1 history, this drop-off. The way the regulations evolve are just making me watch F1 turn into a giant propaganda machine. Yeah, I mean, look, hopefully we get these regs for at least another... We got them for another year, at least. And then hopefully the year after, the 26 regs are actually pushed back to 27. Because, yeah, it'd be great to have another 2 seasons of this. Oh, Hamilton read it. What's he said? Lewis told it's P11. And Hamilton said it's unbelievable, mate. And I assume that's not in a good way. Max moves team for 25. Not for 25, I think for 26 he will. Yeah, I think he's going Merc. I think that's kind of nailed on. 4 people said Verstappen would win in a Haas. Not me, Dan. Not me. The only... Look, we know it's 80%, 90% of the machinery at the end of the day that you've got underneath you. And then the remainder of that is the driver. And definitely a good driver will get more out of a particular car. But yeah. Oh, yellow. Signs. Signs off. Signs off. Turn 16. Turn 17. Has he made contact? That is under the bridge of turn 16. And Signs, has he made contact there? Or has he just had a... It's a very odd place for him to spin. Did he go into the wall? What happened? No doubt he'll probably come straight into the pits. We'll see. Lucky for him, he is into the pit lane. What has happened to Signs? TV coverage slightly behind, guys, but let's see what happens. So Norris is all car and little skill. No, look, as I said, you need the car underneath you to win races and championships. Very few drivers are able to win races and to win championships unless they have a champion, unless they have one of the best cars on the grid. Just watching Carlos. I'm still waiting to see Carlos Sainz. Come on. Yeah, Gasly had so many cars to get past. Oh my god, the TV coverage is so delayed. Like, the race directors are terrible. Oh, so Carlos Sainz just massively locked up as he went into the turn 16 chicane. So did he stop the car or did he actually make that? Did he hit the wall? Okay, so Sainz was okay. He just really went on, really locked up into turn 16 down the escape road. Very odd for him. Oh, I say very odd. He's at the end of a long run, isn't it? Down into turn 16. So. No doubt the drivers. The drivers are good. No doubt, just someone could have the best race of your life and finish 13th. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's Max is still a great driver, but he can't make up. Oh, Norris reporting he hit the wall pretty hard. What happened with Norris? What's he done? I assume he's just gone over the limit a little bit and hit the wall, as these drivers are trying to find the limit right now. Come on, TV coverage is so... Why don't they show it? Don't they show it? But lots of drivers in and out of the circuit at the moment, as we have 17.5 minutes remaining of this FP2 session, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for choosing my watch-along for this FP2 session. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, for FP3 and qualifying in the afternoon. So if you have yet to do so, please hit the subscribe button. And if you haven't hit the like button, please hit that thumbs up. Let's get this stream to over 100 likes. Sir Lewis Hamilton. Thanks, Jackie. Ricardo with a 7-minute at Hulkenberg, an 8.5-minute lap time. Yeah, so this is the thing that, I mean, it's a very slow, like, cool down lap here. I mean, if they have to let traffic through as well. So Hulkenberg is on the lap. Who's on laps at the moment? So Zhou and Bottas are still the slowest out of everyone. Shock, horror. As Norris is told, we don't see any damage on the car. As he said, he hit the car. Said he hit the wall pretty hard. But yeah, look at that, a 71-second sector 1 from Norris. Like that's what happens when they have to go really slow and cool down the tyres and recharge the battery. So watching this from Lando. Did he hit the wall really hard? Where did he hit the wall really hard? Down into turn 3. And oh yeah, he did hit the wall quite hard actually. But side wall on wall. Max is underlined. I'll be a great driver, Ferrari fan here, but not gonna lie, I miss the Dutch anthem. You're manifesting 32k this weekend, Nitro. It'd be amazing, man. It'd be amazing. As I've said before, guys, look, I just appreciate any subscription, any subs, any new followers, and just continued return viewers as well. The fact of it, we get consistent numbers is the key. For if I want to make this a dream one day, the dream is, of course, to make this a full-time career one day. And consistency is massively key on YouTube in regards to viewership and returning viewers. It's all well and good getting new viewership, but it's this consistent support and people returning to view your content that is key. So a big thank you to everyone who chooses to return for these watch-alongs and watch my other content as well. A big thank you. Actually, yeah, because you're bringing me a step closer. So thanks, guys. I think there's a glitch in the pit lane. You think so? Merc was never fire on practice and bad at qualifying. On qualifying, when others ramp the Merc, stays where it is. I saw the lap times for 3 years. I can't hold it anymore. It doesn't like to be pushed. What, the Merc? Yeah, I mean, look, they're still behind, really, aren't they, in this regulation set? They need Mercedes can win races, as we've seen, but they need very specific conditions to do so. And they need cooler conditions at particular circuits where they... I mean, they've done better, really, at the traditional circuits, haven't they? Spa, Silverstone. Where else have they done quite well? So they might do better at Circuit of the Americas. I don't know. I'd be surprised really to see any races between now and the end of the season. Oh, Sainz again, yellow flag. I'm assuming that's him going through the down to the escape road of turn 5. So Sainz having a few lockups, it seems. having a few lockups. He's on the medium compound tyres. That was his out lap as well. So cold tyres out of the pit box. As I said, it's very bumpy down into turn 5. We've seen Perez go off there as well. We've seen Perez have issues through turn 16 and Sainz. So certain areas where these cars are struggling to brake with these bumps. Best of thanks, McKellen. Thank you. They always do work places where chassis control works over anything else. Kota, they'll probably be poor on the bumps, but okay in high speed. Yeah, I just think I don't see them competing for any race wins between now and the end of the season. Really. Everywhere we go into is either higher altitude, Brazil. Yes, they've always kind of done well at Brazil, but even then I don't think so. It's weird because Brazil's at high altitude, yet they struggle in kind of generally struggle in Mexico. That Mercedes power unit struggles in Mexico, and then seems to do a bit better in Brazil. Not sure why. So I think Brazil's like the only place where Interlagos where they might have an opportunity. But other than that, everywhere else is very hot conditions. Yeah, higher altitude. I just don't see them making that much of a development gain, especially with Lewis. I mean, they're clearly using Lewis as an experiment. Russell will only win if the two up front crash out, as he seems to reap the rewards of everyone crashing. Max to go to WEC once finished with F1, most likely, yeah. Lando gets pole, bet the car's behind him to lead after lap 1. Lando has never led the first lap from pole. I know, crazy. I did a video on it, go check it out. Vegas, they will be competitive, I think. Brazil, maybe, because not too bumpy. You think Vegas, they'll be competitive, really? I don't know. I mean, look, I'm mostly intrigued, of course, this championship battle to see how poorly Max has been struggling. See how Leclerc and Norris, that looks like and Piastri as well. Don't rule out Piastri, of course. So, yeah, lots of things to keep an eye out on still for the remainder of the season. Oh, you was talking about Red Bull, Connor. Let's go, Lewis. Yeah, he might have a strong race. I mean, Lewis has got a lot of work to do. He's not happy with the way the car is at the moment. He's not happy with how it's set up. Lions radio. Something weird with the brakes. It's strange. Keep locking the front right. Interesting. Off to work soon, Wonka. It's Friday, man. Just get through this day and it's the weekend. Speak truth. Commentary surpasses even those that are on TV. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Austin, the balls will be fast. Well, we'll see. I mean, look, they're saying they're bringing an upgrade there, but I think they're just throwing shit at the wall, hoping it sticks. So I think that's kind of their attitude to it at the moment. I think Max is very much resigned to the fact of like, look, these guys are going to catch me eventually, but they're still not caught me. I think he's a bit surprised, but he's still got such a large lead as he has. So. It's normally a one-stop race, Mark, if there's no safety car. No idea about Merc as of late. They're very all over the place, difficult to see. Exactly, Connor, yeah. Yeah, they're still behind. I mean, look, looks like Ferrari are going to end the season strong. And for Lewis Hamilton, that's a good thing because the car is going to be in a good position at the end of the season, and that's more likely for them to come out strong in next year, start of next season, and that's what Ferrari need. Everyone that likes this channel should member up. Thank you, mate. Thank you. I'll watch that Lando video. Thank you. I guess his street isn't a secret anymore. Yeah, I mean, look, the reason I did that video is because I do think that there's more to it in regards to all of his pole positions of why he is not led at the end of the first lap. Some of it is because of him, and I think some of it isn't. So it's very... Yeah, it was intriguing to kind of research and put that together. So. Ferrari are strong now. They're on top of porpoising. Yes, yeah. The big upgrade, I think the surprising thing has been that upgrade to Monza wasn't just Monza specific, was it? It's definitely sorted out some underlying issues that they had and has suited them for the remainder of the season. Looks like it's suiting them for the remainder of the season. The thing is with Ferrari, their development plan or their path was different to other teams. They bought their upgrades to different circuits where the standard kind of upgrade procedure is like Imola, then Barcelona, then like the other circuits. It's basically offset to the other teams. So yeah, they're they obviously did fall behind quite a bit. I do think that their big upgrade package or update package that came in Barcelona was a step back for them, wasn't it? Because they reverted back to an old spec. But the Monza one has righted those issues. So, what was the illegal McLaren shenanigans about? So they have been told to rectify or stop their wing, their rear wing, from opening a gap at high speeds, basically, when there's no DRS open. They kind of had a mini DRS going on, and yeah, Red Bull and Ferrari protested it, and they've been told that they need to rectify that, so, and make sure it doesn't happen. They will be monitoring the FIA. Another Ferrari vs McLaren weekend, the greatest at their greatest again. Good to see. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing throughout the course of this season, is that the only real constant throughout the course of the season, the consistent team, has been McLaren. We know that they're always going to be fighting for the race win or the podium, even at the start of the season when Red Bull was strongest. And at some race weekends, it's been Red Bull, sometimes it's been Mercedes, sometimes it's been Ferrari. Arguably, they should have a lot more race wins than they currently have, than just the 4. But yeah, I mean, that's why the constructors really is for them to lose, and why Lando Norris should be a lot closer to Max Verstappen than he currently is. And he seems to be really kind of setting the pace here this weekend. It's definitely him. It definitely seems to be, from these first 2 practice sessions at least, between Norris and Leclerc. But we know the form Piastri is in, never rule him out. And of course Sainz as well. Sainz was on pole position here last year and won the race. So yeah, it does look like it's going to be between those 4. And the Red Bulls do look to be struggling a little bit, so we'll see how they get on. But we know it could always rain here at Singapore. That could throw a proper spanner in the works to the performance and level things off. I think that's what Max will be hoping for by the looks of things. But yeah, probably the oldest comment on this one. Ferrari will top the time as McLaren coming in a close second. No, I think McLaren are going to be on top. I think McLaren will be on. Thank you, Taco! Upgraded to Chief Strategist. Thank you, buddy. Welcome for being promoted in the pit crew. Thank you, guys. Yeah, if you could hit that subscribe button, it'd be much appreciated. Over 100 likes as well now. Thank you, thank you. We have just over 6.5 minutes of this FP2 session remaining. It does seem to be that the McLarens and the Ferraris are strongest on all compounds, really. The Red Bull, Max did have his lap interrupted, but he's been complaining about the balance of the car. So has Sergio Perez. We've seen them have a few lockups and struggles over the bumps here at Singapore, which you need to be able to deal with. Hamilton is not happy with the setup of the car whatsoever. I do expect him to improve tomorrow, no doubt, once they analyse the data. And well, yeah, Yuki Tsunoda and Daniel Ricciardo looks like they've gone for maybe some low fuel runs there, being up in the top 6. Don't expect the RBs to be there tomorrow. So has someone's got a seat confirmed yet? Yes, he's at Williams for next year. Last lap, Leclerc faster on mediums than Norris and softs. Thank you for the sub. Thank you, Loris. Norris got hurt by Austria and Hungary and Italy. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, look, a few subs flying in. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Another weekend coming for Red Bull. It seems that way. I mean, which I guess is to be expected, because they're not going to fix their issues in the space of a week from Baku to Singapore. The difference for them will be COTA, Circuit of the Americas, which is why Norris needs to capitalise now to try and close that gap on Verstappen, because yeah, there is a potential that they turn around their misfortunes in Circuit of the Americas. I don't think they will. I don't think there's a magic update for the Red Bull to close the gap on Ferrari and the McLarens, that's for sure. So I think McLaren, they said they've still got updates coming. I think they're even bringing an update to Circuit of the Americas. So yeah, that's the thing, is that they can bring updates as well, but the other teams are going to develop and stay ahead of them as well. They can see an opportunity to win this championship. Is this where Colapinto pays the price of not having enough experience? Potentially, yeah. Oh, yellow flag. Norris has gone off through turn 7 there. So double yellow And Norris has gone slow. Oh no, has Norris binned it, or has he just gone... Or has Norris just gone into the escape road there? I think Norris just went down the escape road. This is where we saw, of course, Max Verstappen make a big four-wheel lock-up last year, going side by side with Norris, actually, when he was fighting him. So no. It seems to be that Norris just had a big lock-up there. He went off at turn 1, actually, on that set of soft tyres that he's currently on. So maybe he's starting to come to the end of those tyres and going through turn 1 there onto the dirty side of the circuit. No doubt, still didn't have enough grip there. No doubt the TV coverage will show it in a second. Looks like Lando's testing the limit of the softs. Yeah, yeah, probably. Thanks for the subs, guys. Much appreciated. Crash Burn. Desi. Anyone else as well? Hang on. Yep, just looking at Lando Norris replay now as he heads down into turn... Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he basically he got tucked up behind the slipstream of the Sauber and just caught Valtteri Bottas, basically, and he bowed out of it. So... just got here, and why are the V-cars where they are? Because they've done some glory runs. They've done some low fuel runs. That's all. As Lando now finally comes off of those soft compound tyres. I think they've taken enough of a pounding as he's now into the pit lane. Sorry, in regards to Colapinto, it could potentially be, yes, because this is a circuit where F2 doesn't drive around, or F3. So he would never have really done any running on this circuit before, I believe. So yeah, he no doubt would have done a lot of work in the sim to learn the way this circuit goes, to try and find the limits in the sim. But yeah, this is, if there's one circuit where I think Albon will probably comfortably outperform Colapinto, it'll be here, because it's a circuit he's never been to before. And this is going to be also a race that no doubt Colapinto has never experienced such fatigue and his fitness levels properly pushed to the limit, because again, George Russell off at turn 8. No doubt this is just him down the escape road as well. So we're starting to see drivers lock up here as they come to the end of their at the end of this FP2 session. I mean, it's got yellow down from turn 7 to turn 8. I mean, he hasn't got moving again yet. Has he actually binned it? Has he done a Logan Sargent? This is where Logan Sargent lost his front wing last year. He's not moving yet, unless he's just trying to turn that car around. But yeah, if there's one circuit that Colapinto is going to struggle at, it'll be here. In F2, they don't have such an extreme race conditions that's taxing on the body as the Singapore race. So yeah, he needs to just take it in his stride and do the best that he can. But George Russell's still not able to get moving here, unless he's just really locked up and cannot get going because of traffic, or he genuinely has put it in the wall. I'm just waiting for the TV coverage to catch up, and he has. George Russell has done a Logan Sargent, locked up, and he's put his car into the barrier, and will not get going with 47 seconds. Oh, has he got going again? No. He has been... He's not on there. He's disappeared. His icon's disappeared. So, yeah, George Russell most definitely locked up, done a Logan, and gone straight on into the barrier. No, not too much damage, I think. Probably just front wing damage. But he's done. He's had to switch the car off. And, yeah, not good for George there. Done a Logie there. George Russell... Oh, Toto Wolf's face says it all. He's like this. Oh, he has got the car moving again. Sorry. Yeah, he's just lost the front wing. That's all. So they've just lost the front wing as George Russell then took the car down the escape road. So, what is my view about 2021 Abu Dhabi GP last lap? Oh, I'm not going back over that. All in the... I say all in the past. It still sticks very much... It's still very much in my mind. Oh, there you go. George Russell trudging his way down to the pit lane. They don't want you talking about Colapinto, I'm telling you. Just watching this, I'm thinking he did just watching the replay. I think he did basically what Logan Sargent did. He's turned into the corner, and it locks up. Locks up mid-corner. The car locked up mid-corner. Very odd there. Interesting there. But this is Singapore for you. Anyone can do that tomorrow. So yeah, he's just lost the front wing. Not too much damage to that Mercedes. So George will be back out there tomorrow for FP3. So here we go, guys. That is it of FP1. We've had FP2, sorry, because I did FP1 earlier on today. Norris is at the top of the standings there in P1. It does look like from FP1 and FP2, it looks like it's going to be a fight between Norris and Leclerc this weekend. Carlos Sainz and Piastri, of course, still no doubt going to be there. Piastri, the most informed driver on the grid at the moment, you would say, scoring the most points out of everyone in the last 7 to 8 races. Tsunoda in P4, Piastri P5, Ricciardo P6, potentially in his last ever race in F1, with the rumours of Liam Lawson to be announced to replace him for the end of the season after this race. George Russell, as we just saw there, just went straight on and crashed into the wall. Only lost his front wing nose, so been able to make it back under his own steam to the pit lane. Sergio Perez in P8, struggling in that Red Bull at the moment. Doesn't seem too comfortable in it. Struggling over the bumps here at the Singapore circuit. Albon in P9, Hulkenberg P10. Hamilton likewise struggling with his setup as well. Not happy with that car at all. See if he can make improvements to set up overnight. Alonso in P12, Magnussen P13, Stroll 14th. Verstappen had his fastest lap interrupted, but similarly to Perez, not happy with the balance of the car, so we'll see if they can fix that overnight. Got a Pinto P16, Ocon 17th, Gasly 18th, Joe and Bottas in the green tractors, the bright green tractors at the back there, guys. And there we go. That is the FP2 session completed. And, of course, we'll return tomorrow for FP3 and qualifying. See you tomorrow, Mark. See you tomorrow. Yeah, good to see you, Juan. Good to see you guys. Still using Logan name. Wow. Time show it's close. Yeah, Perez better than Max. Any theory on that? Yeah, the theory is, I think it's quite a simple one, Shawnee. Look, I do expect Max to be stronger here than he was in Baku, but we'll see. The reason Perez was much better than Verstappen last time out at Baku is because they made changes to the car that has made it a bit more understeery. So it's a bit more towards Perez's driving style compared to Max's. Max doesn't like the car to be understeery. He likes it more on the nose, very responsive. And an understeery car is the complete opposite to what Max wants. Also, Max apparently made some setup changes to the car that meant that it was bouncing around a lot, so he couldn't get the traction down quick enough, get the throttle down and get the traction quick enough. So he lost a lot of time in Baku last week. But yeah, the Red Bull from a development perspective has definitely gone more back towards the way that Perez likes to drive and where he feels comfortable. And it's just happened at the right time as well when we're approaching circuits where Perez feels comfortable, street circuits. So, yeah, that's why he did so well in Baku and why Perez could do well here. But it does seem that Red Bull, they're going to have to make some compromises again with the struggles they're seeing over the bumps. So they're either going to have to raise the floor height or they're going to have to soften the suspension. So that's going to lose them performance all round. So for them, I'm telling you now, that's what I mean. I think a top 5 for Max Verstappen is unbelievable at the moment for him. So that's what they'll be aiming for. The podium, they need some help, that's for sure. But yeah, but we'll see. They might be able to sort something out overnight. No doubt Hamilton will as well. And it's going to make for an interesting weekend again. Crazy though, Rick was like 100% expected to be at Red Bull for the rest of the year, and now he's rumoured to be out of a driving tiny. That's F1. It changes so quickly. It changes so quickly. Crazy, not sure if you're ready to lose, Danny Rick. Thanks for the double stream. Yes, it's been a pleasure to bring you 2 watch-along streams here today, guys, in FP1 and FP2. Don't get to do it a lot because, of course, I'm normally working on a Friday, but because it's my birthday tomorrow, work kindly gives you a day off, and because it falls on weekends, that's why I took Friday off to chill for you guys. So yes, tomorrow will be my birthday. It's going to be a double birthday stream. I hope you guys are gonna. Hopefully, it's a good one. Hopefully, have a good qualifying. So yeah, bring plenty of cake. Bring plenty of cake, guys. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button as a birthday present, hit the subscribe button for me. But there we go, guys. I've now got to go. I've got to go. I'm actually going out for some drinks now. So thank you for everyone who's tuned in. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way out, and we will see you tomorrow. Let's just double check the Let's just check the times for tomorrow, shall we, of the sessions. I think they're similar to today. Tomorrow, practice 3 is at 10:30 UK time. Yes, same time. Both tomorrow's sessions, practice 3 and qualifying, are at the same time that we have had today. So 10:30 in the morning UK time, and then 2 o'clock in the afternoon UK time is qualifying. So yes, turn your notifications on if you haven't already to be alerted before we go live. And yes, for everyone, thanks for tuning in today. Hope you have a good remainder of your Friday, and we'll catch you tomorrow for FP3. See you then. Bye.